You guys are watching the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, and on today's show, we're going to take a look at some rumors and news going on around America's team. We're going to get things started with how about some coaching talk here? Is Mike Nolan going to be out as the defensive coordinator? I really do think that is the path we're trending. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. Not set in stone yet. There is a path for Nolan to find a way to save his job. But as the Dallas Morning News reported, Mike Nolan, quote, not expected to return. And this makes sense, right? The defense is bad. And I think for the most part, we were in agreement. Hey, the Chris Richard, Rod Marinelli thing, it wasn't good enough. It wasn't quite what the Cowboys wanted or needed it to be. But they've been worse with Mike Nolan. Now, some of the blame goes to the players. I'm not saying you just bring back all the players again. Definitely not. But I can't justify keeping this. This is bad. Now, look, the turnovers, you had a great game against the Bengals, a great game against the Eagles. That accounts for, I think, like almost half of your takeaways this year in 2 games. That's not good. Your run defense can't stop anyone. It might go up against Kyle Shanahan this week. The pass defense looks good, but that's because why throw it when you run for 7 yards a carry? You don't need to at that point. The total yards per game are fine, but the points are not very good. They're bad in the red zone. Mike McCarthy said, it's too far down the year to blame the scheme. Well, is it though? Because, yeah, it's the players' fault for not being able to identify and read and react properly, but you probably put too much on their plates, and that's on you too, and it's just not working. Some players and schemes just don't mesh in the end. I think the answer's simple here. I think you got to fire Mike Nolan. And I was a bit like, give him some more time in the middle of the year. I'm not going to stand in the way. And he's got to outright go. It is time. Unless he absolutely gets a lockdown defense the final 3 weeks, I think you got to move on from Mike Nolan. If you guys agree with me, type in FN in the comments section. Let's stick with defense here, this time an injury focus. Trevon Diggs, he going to return. 3 stars on this one, not the full 4, because I'm not sure it's going to happen this week, but it does appear that Diggs is on his way to playing in the very near future once again for the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, had that foot fracture. He has returned to practice for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, what that means is that there is a 21-day window in which the Cowboys have to either keep Diggs on IR or activate him to the active roster. And since there's not going to be a postseason time, that 21-day window is the rest of the season. And I want to get Diggs back out there. My goal right now for the Cowboys, I'm focused on 2021. This year's a wash. Diggs needs those reps to help the Cowboys defense next season. Yes, your defense is better with Trevon Diggs out there and might make it tougher for you to outright tank, but I need to get Diggs reps. I need to play him. He is still rather raw in terms of the total volume of reps he's had dating back to college at cornerback. And we've seen flashes, especially against Philadelphia. He was frankly awesome in that game. He's been picked on a lot. I want to keep putting him out there. Keep giving him opportunities to learn and make mistakes. That's okay, and grow and develop. And next year, with the extra potentially 2 or 3 games under his belt, I think it'll help him in the long run. I like Diggs. He's been a very good second-round pick for the Cowboys of the first-year corners. I mean, he was better than Jeffrey Okudah. Now, Okudah was banged up a lot. That's a good sign for the Cowboys. I think it matters to have Trevon Diggs out there and to get him back fully healthy. Now, we're talking about Chidobe Awuzie here in just a second. Before we do, I want you guys to type either TD for Trevon Diggs or CA for Chidobe Awuzie. Who is the better cornerback? Get your votes in, and if you get the ad break here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Scroll on down, get your votes in, and help me feed my family. Let's talk about Chidobe Awuzie now. He's going to be back against the 49ers. This one's 4 stars. It seems that's the way we're going here. Activated from the Cowboys COVID list, and that's a very good thing for Dallas. I know not all of you like Cheeto, and that's fine. I get it. He's only played in like 5 games this year. You haven't really had a healthy secondary this season. Donovan Woods has missed time, or Donovan Wilson, excuse me, we'll talk about him later on. Jordan Lewis missed a couple games. Anthony Brown's been banged up. Awuzie's missed time. Diggs is on IR. Awuzie played a handful of games this season. They're better than the Reggie Robinson, Deontay Burton, Savion Smith trio. Like, those are better options for the Cowboys. Smith, of course, is currently on practice squad and might get to come back up. Awuzie, unfortunately for him, this was a prove-it year. New scheme, maybe he'll be maximized. Had the interception early, and then we haven't really seen him healthy since then. Even when he came back from that hamstring injury, wasn't quite at a full 100%. So I'd like to see him back out there against San Francisco, if only to give himself more reps, help himself out, and you know what? Maybe he gets you a draft pick. Probably not via the comp pick process if he leaves in free agency. Maybe he comes back on the cheap. Either way, it's a good thing for him to be back out there on the field. Speaking of good things, I got a deal for you guys. I'm playing Santa Tom today. Head over to chatsports.com/Cowboys, where gear is 50% off. This t-shirt hat combo pack, $25. All kinds of face masks, they're on sale for 50% off, and there are even jerseys on sale too. So go check out that link. It is chatsports.com/Cowboys. And don't worry, I will make sure it's in the comment section and in the description to make your lives just that much easier. Let's talk running backs now. How about less Zeke and more Tony Pollard? 3 stars on this one, not quite 4. Because I'm not even sure if Zeke's going to be out there that much at all in this one. Zeke is still dealing with a calf injury right now for the Cowboys, and Pollard has had a little bit more work as of late, a lot more than what he was seeing early on this season. Now, Zeke's a competitor like all these players are. He wants to play. This is why tanking isn't an easy thing in practice, because the players don't try to lose games on purpose unless, you got some little football stuff going on and they're throwing games to make money on bets. But the Cowboys don't want to overload Zeke, and that's what we've seen in the past 2 games. This breakdown in terms of the snap counts is much different than what we were seeing in the past. Elliott used to be a 75% guy. Now he's barely getting to 62%. Now, I think Elliott's been a little bit better the past 2 weeks in terms of reliability. There was a bigger run from Elliott, and actually, that's why I like this idea. I think reducing Elliott's touches makes life easier on him. Elliott's had a heavy workload throughout his NFL career and at Ohio State. And there is a shelf life on running backs. And I think you've seen that with Zeke. I think giving him a lesser workload, keeping him under 300 touches, actually will make him a little bit more explosive, especially next year if they keep that path together. So for the rest of this year, because your season's over, from a pure Cowboys perspective, yeah, I say let's see a little bit more Tony Pollard. Because you know what? I know what Zeke is. He's fine. He's under contract. You're stuck with him, more or less. Kind of want to see if you want to use Tony Pollard even more next year. But let me know what you guys think. Type EE for Ezekiel Elliott or type TP for Tony Pollard. Now, if it's your first time watching the show, maybe you don't know what on earth I mean by the stars. Well, allow me to explain. 0 stars. It's the number of Carson Wentz playoff wins, and that might never have to change. It means it's fake news, by the way. 1 star. There's a small shred of truth here. It might be a little bit unrealistic, but it was worth bringing up. 2 stars firmly in that rumor category. We'll see what happens. 3 stars is pretty likely. Not quite done. There might be one little thing that could change, but yeah, expect this to go down. 4 stars, yeah, this is a done deal. It's happening. It means Zeke's eating, and we might have changed that one again. Moving on now to looking ahead a little bit. Could the Cowboys coach the Senior Bowl? I'm going to give this one 2 stars because there's a very real possibility. And I think for the Cowboys, this would be a good thing. The Cowboys staff right now is in position to at least have a chance to coach the Senior Bowl. Now, historically speaking, this often goes to the teams at the bottom of the NFL draft order that have kept all or at least most of their coaching staff. And teams like this because they get an up-close look at prospects. They get to learn about the person a little bit more and, of course, the player as well. So remember, here's where the NFL draft order sits. The Jets, Gase is not going to come back. He'll be fired. I don't see how Doug Marrone sticks around, so they're not going to coach the Senior Bowl. Jacksonville. The Bengals might keep Zach Taylor. That would be one potentially. I don't think the Chargers are going to keep Anthony Lynn. He's gone, I think. That leaves Dallas and the Bengals, and then finding a way to stay out of Carolina, but Carolina's going to keep Matt Rule, so that they're a threat there. Atlanta already fired their coach. This is technically Houston at number 8. They fired their coach. I think the Eagles keep Doug Peterson, but they should finish ahead of the Cowboys. So this might end up being Bengals if they keep Zach Taylor. I guess maybe the LA Chargers, but probably not. The Cowboys or the Panthers. if you can coach the Senior Bowl, I think that helps you. Now, I don't want to just give all the power to Mike McCarthy, let him make all the draft picks, but I think it would benefit the Cowboys organization as a whole. Of course, draft is going to be a big deal for the Dallas Cowboys. If you want to stay up to date, hit that big red button and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, it's the link below, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Don't miss out on anything we got planned for you guys this offseason. We're going to keep you covered unlike anyone else out there. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Wrapping up with some more injury talk here. Will Anthony Brown and Donovan Wilson be back this week? 2 stars. I thought Brown would have been back last week. I was wrong, so I'm a little bit skittish to go above 2 stars here. We'll start with Wilson, though. Wilson has been out the past 2 weeks with a groin injury. Did get back at practice in a limited capacity. Mike McCarthy said, much like Diggs, he exceeded expectations in terms of his workload at practice. He has a real shot to play this week, and just like Diggs, I want to get the young guy out there. I want to give him opportunities to show if he really can be a piece of this organization long term. Anthony Brown, meanwhile, has that rib issue once again re-aggravated after going on IR earlier this year because of it. Limited to practice these past 2 weeks, didn't play in any of the games. He cannot go on IR or his season is over. Remember, the rules changed this year. You can go on IR for 3 weeks and then return, and Brown did, but like any other year, you can't go on IR twice and then come back. If you do that, well, your season is over. I would like to see a healthier defensive secondary for the Cowboys because we haven't seen one this year. I think it would be awesome if Chidobe Awuzie / Trevon Diggs was your CB1, and then Diggs was the other guy was opposite cornerback 2, and you kick Anthony Brown back in the slot where I think he actually belongs, or still rotate him in. I think that would be a nice thing to at least see for the Cowboys because I want to see how Diggs fares. Maybe he doesn't have to cover the ones. Maybe he's your number 2 corner next year, and you draft or sign somebody early. I think that would make a lot of sense if you are the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm very curious to see who is actually able to play against the 49ers.